bullies thought they could break her. Big mistake. They had no idea she was a hidden boxing champion. "Hey, Serena Williams, where's your racket?" shouted Dylan Martinez, captain of the football team, as he shoved Maya Johnson against the lockers at Roosevelt High. The metallic slam echoed down the hallway. Over 50 students froze, eyes glued to the unfolding drama. 17-year-old Maya had only transferred that week after her mother got a new job. She expected change, but not a welcome like this. "Check it out, guys," Dylan sneered, turning to his audience. "Looks like someone got lost on their way out of the city." His friends erupted in forced laughter, the kind that follows the leader, not the joke. But Maya wasn't broken. She was counting. 1, 2, 3. Slow breaths, a trick she'd learned in the boxing gym when anger after her father's death threatened to consume her. 4, 5, 6. Her gaze stayed low, not from fear, but focus. "What's wrong, can't speak English?" mocked Madison Pierce, the school's social queen, filming it all on her phone. "Or do you only know whatever you speak back home?" Maya lifted her head, her eyes locked on Dylan's. For a moment, something flickered. He blinked first, unsettled by the calm in her stare. It was like looking into deep water, still on the surface, but hiding a strong current below. "Excuse me," Maya said softly, her accent faint but steady. "Were you talking to me?" The hallway erupted in laughter, assuming she was cracking. But Jessie Chun, a quiet girl who always ate alone, noticed the difference. Maya's posture wasn't submissive, it was measured, calculating. Dylan leaned closer, breath hot. "Here's how it works. People like you keep your head down. You don't make trouble. Got it?" "People like me," Maya repeated, savoring the words. A thin smile curved her lips. "Tell me, Dylan, what kind of person do you think I am?" The use of his name startled him. They'd never spoken before. How did she know? And how could she look so composed? "The kind that learns respect," he growled, shoving her again. This time, Maya flowed with the push instead of resisting, moving so smoothly it almost looked like a dance. Dylan stumbled, thrown off balance. A flashback cut through her mind. Coach Rodriguez at the underground gym. "Maya, you're different. You fight with your heart, but you also fight with your head. That's what makes you dangerous." "Why isn't she crying?" Madison muttered, lowering her phone. "She's acting weird." Maya inhaled again. 7, 8, 9. When she opened her eyes, they carried a steel resolve that made students instinctively back up. "Are you done?" she asked calmly, adjusting her backpack strap. "Because I've got chemistry in 5 minutes. And unlike what you assume, I actually care about school." Her words sliced through the air sharper than any punch. This wasn't the script Dylan expected. No tears, no begging, just quiet defiance. "You'll regret talking to me like that," he muttered low, so only she could hear. "I make people's lives miserable when they cross me." "I'm sure you do," Maya answered, locking eyes again. "But tell me, have you ever met someone who's already walked through fire and survived?" Silence fell. Even Madison stopped recording, sensing the shift. The audience no longer knew whose side they were on. Maya turned to leave, her stride smooth, almost feline. Then she glanced back. "Oh, and Dylan?" she said, voice light but edged with iron. "Thanks for the welcome. I learned a lot." She walked on, shoulders loose, hands relaxed but ready. Jessie Chun watched in awe. Maya wasn't just surviving, she was waiting, preparing. What no one in that hallway realized was that Maya Johnson had already memorized every face, every name, every insult. Later that night, she would do what she'd been doing for 2 years, open a small red notebook and write everything down. Every slight, every challenge, every person who underestimated her. On those same pages, beneath the words underground champion, 15 straight wins, was another note. Next fight, Saturday. If this story of underestimation has your attention, Make sure you subscribe, because what happened the next day proved that silence is often mistaken for weakness. The following morning, Maya learned the real sting of humiliation. Madison's video had blown up on the school's Instagram page. Caption: "New girl learning the rules? Welcome to Roosevelt. Know your place." Over 300 likes. Comments poured in like acid. "She's back where she belongs. She won't last a week. At least she's polite." Maya scrolled through them one by one, memorizing usernames. In her red notebook, she wrote with careful precision, "Day 2, coordinated online harassment." Evidence, screenshots attached. Her handwriting was as neat as if she were taking notes in history class. By lunch, Dylan and his crew deliberately sat near her table. "Hey everyone, look who it is," he announced, his voice carrying across the cafeteria. "Our celebrity. Maya, how many views you got now? Bet you're loving the fame." 2 tables away, Jessie Chun watched quietly. Maya didn't look like a victim. Her posture was steady, shoulders loose, breathing calm. She wasn't shrinking. She was observing. "Dylan," Maya said without looking up from her chemistry book, "ever wonder why you always need an audience to feel tough?" The cafeteria froze. Kevin Walsh nearly spit out his drink. Madison lowered her phone mid-recording. Dylan stiffened. The words had cut deeper than he wanted to admit. "Watch yourself," he muttered, standing up. "You don't understand how this place works." Maya closed her book slowly and looked at him. For a flicker of a moment, Dylan flinched. Her eyes carried the same sharp, dangerous edge he'd only seen in his father's worst moments. "Actually, I do understand," she said. "You rule with fear because it's easier than earning respect. You lean on power because without your audience, you're just another kid hiding from your own pain." Silence swallowed the cafeteria. Even the staff paused. No one ever spoke to Dylan Martinez like that. Kevin pushed back his chair, ready to rise. "You'll regret this." "Maybe," Maya admitted, sliding her book into her bag. "But at least my choices are mine. What about yours?" As she stood to leave, Dylan grabbed her arm. It wasn't friendly. It was controlling. Maya looked at his hand, then up into his eyes. "Let go," she said quietly. "Or what?" Dylan tightened his grip. A memory flashed. 3 years earlier, standing at her father's coffin. He had died at just 42, and that day Maya swore she would never again be powerless. Coach Rodriguez had been there too. "Your daughter is angry," he had told her mother. "Anger can destroy a person, or forge a fighter. The choice is hers." Maya had made her choice. "Let go," she repeated, her voice calm but charged. Dylan suddenly felt the muscles in her arm harden, not with fear, but readiness. With one swift, practiced move, Maya broke free. It wasn't forceful, it was precise, technical. Dylan stumbled back, staring at his empty hand as if it had betrayed him. "How? How did you do that?" he demanded. "Self-defense," Maya replied lightly. "My mom signed me up after some guys tried to mug me once. You get it, right? Girls like me, we're expected to know how to protect ourselves." Madison frowned. "That's not what self-defense looks like." Maya smiled, her first smile in 2 days. "You're right. Basic self-defense doesn't. I never said I did." Basic Jessica Chun watched as Maya left the cafeteria, her movements fluid, almost feline. Every step was deliberate, efficient, as if she were always just a breath away from a fighting stance without anyone noticing. That afternoon in gym class, the school uniform gave away something Maya's usual clothes concealed. Her arms carried a quiet definition, not bulky, but unmistakably the product of years of focused training. "Man," one boy on the basketball team whispered, "look at her arms. That girl definitely trains." Dylan noticed too. During volleyball, he studied how Maya moved. Perfect balance, lightning reflexes, and coordination that didn't look natural. When the ball came her way, she didn't just hit it back. She redirected it with surgical precision. placing it exactly where she intended. To the casual eye, it looked like luck. Dylan was beginning to suspect that nothing about Maya Johnson was luck. After class, he followed her toward the lockers. "You're not who you seem to be, are you?" Maya changed with calm efficiency. "No one is who they seem to be, Dylan. That's the first rule of survival." "Survival?" He let out a nervous laugh. "What kind of life did you live that you had to learn survival?" Maya held his gaze for a long moment. "The kind where you quickly discover there are two kinds of people, those who protect and those who exploit. And you learn to spot the difference fast." "And which one are you?" Dylan asked. "I'm still deciding," she said, closing her locker with a soft clang, "but I know exactly which one you are." That night, Maya was back at the underground gym, a converted warehouse where kids from the suburbs trained away from prying eyes. Coach Rodriguez carefully wrapped her hands as she recounted what had happened at school. "They're testing you," he said, tightening the bandages. "They want to see how far you'll bend before you break." "I won't break." "I know." He paused, looking her in the eyes. "The question is, will you reveal yourself? Maya, you've got 15 straight wins. You've put down opponents twice your size, but your real strength isn't in your fists. It's in the fact that no one expects what you're capable of. Keep that secret until you can't anymore." The next morning, Maya arrived to find her locker vandalized. Graffiti scrawled across it in dripping red letters. "Go back where you came from." Students gathered, snapping photos, turning her humiliation into morning entertainment. Dylan appeared at her side, pretending to be surprised. "Wow, that's rough. Wonder who did that." His friends laughed, making it clear who was responsible. Maya touched the wet paint with her fingertip. "Red is interesting," she said quietly. "It means passion, power, danger." "Really?" Dylan leaned in, smirking. "To me, it means you're finally learning your lesson." Maya turned toward him, smiling faintly, but her eyes were sharp. "The only lesson I'm learning is that some people mistake patience for weakness. And when they realize the difference," she paused, "it's already too late. Every insult, every shove, every cruel word was feeding something inside her, something her tormentors couldn't see. A cold, methodical resolve. And all of it was being carefully documented in her red notebook, the blueprint for their downfall." By Wednesday morning, Maya arrived early and found Jessica Chun at her locker, scrubbing the graffiti away with cleaning supplies she had brought from home. "You don't have to do that," Maya said softly. Jessica shook her head. "I know what it's like to stand out here. Dylan made my freshman year miserable until I learned how to disappear." She hesitated. "But you're not disappearing. You're doing something else." Maya studied her. "What do you mean, something else?" "Yesterday, when Dylan grabbed you and you slipped free. My dad taught me self-defense. That wasn't self-defense. That was something else." For the first time in days, Maya gave a genuine smile. "Where's your family from?" "Korea," Jessica said. "My father was a boxer before we immigrated. He always said you can spot a real fighter by the way they move." Jessica finished wiping down the locker. Then she looked at Maya with quiet certainty. "You're a fighter, aren't you?" Maya regarded her for a long moment, measuring her carefully. Self-defense. That was the official story. "My mom signed me up when we moved here," Maya explained casually. "Classes where?" Jessica pressed. "Why do you want to know?" Maya asked, narrowing her eyes. Jessica rolled up her sleeve, showing a faint scar on her wrist. "Because Dylan has marked you as his main target, and when he does that, it escalates. He doesn't stop until you're broken completely." At that moment, Dylan appeared with Kevin and Madison at his side. The smirk on his face twisted when he noticed Jessica standing beside Maya. "Well, look at this," he sneered. The quiet little refugee made a friend. How sweet. Jessica shrank back instinctively, but Maya stepped forward, subtle, protective, placing herself between them. "Dylan," she said evenly, "shouldn't you be studying for your civil rights history test?" A ripple of laughter spread through the crowd. Dylan realized too late he'd been mocked. His jaw clenched. Very funny. But history books won't help you when I decide to give you some more practical lessons. Practical lessons? Maya tilted her head, pretending to consider it. Like what exactly? Kevin stepped forward, puffing out his chest. Like not talking to guys who aren't on your level. Dylan smirked cruelly. My level is where people like you have always belonged. Serving people like me. Staying quiet when real men are talking. The hallway fell silent. Maya's eyes bored into his. Real men. Interesting. Tell me more about that. Not being intimidated by girls who think they're special, he snapped. I see, Maya said calmly. So intimidation, that's part of being a real man too? Dylan shifted, suddenly uncomfortable. I don't intimidate. I teach respect. Like I taught Thomas Miller last year. The blood drained from his face the moment he said it. Thomas Miller, everyone knew the truth. He had tried to take his own life after months of torment, an incident buried by Dylan's well-connected family. How did you... Dylan stammered. Thomas is fine now, Maya interrupted, her voice like steel. Transferred to a school where he doesn't have to hide who he is. Jessica's eyes widened. Maya had done her homework. You don't know anything about Thomas, Dylan snapped, but his confidence was gone. I know he tried to hang himself after you posted those videos. I know he spent 3 months in therapy, and I know you all thought it was hilarious. Maya pulled out her phone. On the screen, screenshots, old posts from Kevin and Madison mocking Tommy the crybaby. The internet never forgets, Dylan. Madison lunged for the phone, but Maya slipped it into her pocket. Where did you get that? They're public. Anyone can see them, including parents, principals, maybe even investigators looking into a suicide attempt. Dylan's face was pale. You can't prove anything. I don't need to, Maya said coolly, glancing at the students now holding up their own phones, recording everything. Looks like everyone else is doing the documenting for me. That night, in her room, Maya opened her laptop. She typed a message to a private email she had memorized. Evidence collected, witnesses lined up, ready for next phase. The reply came minutes later. Documentation approved, proceed as planned. In her red notebook, she wrote carefully, Day 5. Allie confirmed, Jessica Chun. Antagonist showing desperation. Thomas Miller file prepared. Next phase, full exposure. Because what Dylan didn't know was that Maya had already reached out to others. Students he had broken. Victims who had remained silent until now. Piece by piece, she was building not just a case of bullying, but a record of systematic abuse, one strong enough to bring down Dylan and the power that shielded him. Maya Johnson wasn't just fighting for herself. She was part of something bigger, and Dylan Martinez had just become the perfect example of what happens when predators mistake silence for weakness. That night, as she closed her laptop, a cold smile touched her lips. Not joy, not relief, but the satisfaction of knowing all the pieces were in place. The storm was coming, and when it broke, it would shatter everything Dylan thought he controlled. Friday morning, Dylan Martinez walked into school expecting another day of dominance. Instead, he found the hallways plastered with posters, Justice for Thomas Miller, The Truth About Bullying at Roosevelt High. Each poster had a QR code. Students scanned them eagerly. On their screens appeared 3 years of evidence, screenshots, videos, testimonies, showing Dylan and his friends laughing while Thomas sobbed in the bathroom, minutes before his suicide attempt. Dylan froze. How did she get this? Madison ran up, hysterical. Dylan, it's everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. My parents are going to destroy me. During break, Dylan stormed into the library where Maya sat calmly, reading. You ruined my life, he shouted. My scholarship is gone. Thomas's family is suing me. Maya looked up with her steady, unnerving calm. You're worried about consequences? Thomas was 16 when you humiliated him online. That wasn't just a mistake, Dylan. That was deliberate. It was just a joke, Dylan barked. A joke? Maya opened her laptop. Then let's ask Thomas what he thought. The screen lit up. Thomas Miller, now 19, appeared in a professional video. My name is Thomas Miller. Dylan Martinez and his friends turned my life into misery. When I learned he was targeting Maya Johnson, I knew I had to help. Dylan went pale. Where did this come from? Thomas is studying psychology now, Maya explained. He works in suicide prevention. He reached out to me 3 weeks ago. The video continued. Maya Johnson isn't just a transfer student. She's an undefeated fighter with 15 straight wins on the underground circuit. But more importantly, she never bows to intimidation. Kevin lunged to slam the laptop shut, but Maya's hand moved so fast he stumbled back, shocked. The best part, Maya said evenly, is that I didn't have to lie about a single thing. You assumed I was weak because of where I came from. You assumed wrong. Madison sobbed. Our lives are over. Thomas almost lost his life, Maya shot back. How many did you think you could destroy without consequences? Dylan tried to recover his swagger. You can't prove anything now. Maya's lips curled into a cold smile. Dylan, do you really think I didn't document every second? On her laptop, a folder opened. Monday, physical assault. Tuesday, coordinated online harassment. Wednesday, racial intimidation. Here's the irony, she said softly. You did all of this knowing I was recording. You thought I wouldn't fight back. You thought wrong. That's illegal, Dylan sputtered. You can't record without permission. Not in public areas of the school, another voice cut in. The crowd turned. Principal Washington stood in the doorway, flanked by 2 men in suits, one of them a prosecutor. Mr. Martinez, the principal said firmly, you're suspended effective immediately, and these gentlemen have questions for you regarding the Thomas Miller case and new evidence of systematic harassment. Dylan's face drained of color. This is insane, she set me up. Yes, Maya replied calmly. I set you up. I planned it. I documented every act, contacted every victim, collected every piece of evidence you were too arrogant to hide. The difference is, I used the truth. The prosecutor stepped forward. Mr. Martinez, we have evidence of a pattern that constitutes harassment, cyber abuse, and potentially hate-related charges. Madison sobbed louder. Maya, please, we know we were wrong. Please. Maya regarded her with almost pity. Madison, you had 3 years to change. You chose cruelty, and some choices carry permanent consequences. As Dylan was led away in handcuffs, he twisted back toward her. You think you're better than us? You're just another bully. Maya met his eyes. No, Dylan. I use my strength to protect people who can't protect themselves. You used yours to hurt them. That doesn't make us the same. That makes us opposites. The library fell silent. Students whispered, shocked at what they had just witnessed. Jessica approached quietly. How did you know this would work? Maya closed her laptop with a soft click. Because people like Dylan always make the same mistake. They think strength only means muscle. They never consider knowledge, patience, fairness, or what happens when you turn pain into purpose. Coach Rodriguez appeared in the doorway, his eyes proud. How do you feel? Maya exhaled slowly. Not joy, not revenge, just relief. Knowing he can't hurt anyone else, and showing everyone here that we don't have to accept being treated like less than human. And in that silence, Roosevelt High changed forever. It wasn't just Dylan's fall. It was Maya's proof that one person with courage, intelligence, and purpose could turn the entire system on its head. What no one realized yet was that Maya Johnson still held one final secret. What happened at Roosevelt High wasn't just school justice. It was the beginning of something much bigger, change that would ripple far beyond one hallway, one set of bullies, or one girl. 6 months later, Maya Johnson stood on stage in the Roosevelt High Auditorium, holding the Student of the Year award. The crowd rose to its feet in a standing ovation. In the front row, her mother cried with pride, watching her daughter honored by the same community that had nearly broken her. "This award isn't just mine," Maya said into the microphone. "It belongs to every student who chose to protect instead of harm, to everyone who stood up instead of looking away." Jessica Chun, now president of the new anti-bullying club, smiled through tears. Thomas Miller had flown in just to witness it, recording every moment as proof of how a 17-year-old girl had transformed an entire school. Across town, Dylan Martinez was spending his days completing 400 hours of community service. Expelled, rejected by colleges after the viral scandal, he found himself working at a homeless shelter. For the first time in years, he experienced something unfamiliar, real satisfaction in helping instead of hurting. Madison Pierce had lost her status and her followers. With her reputation gone, she entered therapy and, for the first time, faced the pain that had made her cruel. Meanwhile, Roosevelt High had become a national model for confronting bullying. The program wasn't just posters on walls, it was a living system. Students like Maya and Jessica trained others to recognize injustice and fight it together. In a documentary filmed at the school, Maya explained it simply. The best part wasn't exposing Dylan. It was proving that we never have to accept being treated like we're less than human. The video of her receiving the award went viral. Over 5 million views. It inspired new movements across the country, schools building real systems to protect the vulnerable. At graduation, Maya was chosen as valedictorian. She looked out over the crowd and said, "Some of you know my story, but I don't want you to remember it as revenge. Remember it as proof. Strength isn't about punishing those who hurt you. It's about using what you've endured to build something better." In the audience, Dylan sat quietly, allowed to attend as part of his rehabilitation. He clapped, tears streaming down his face. "Maya," he whispered, "you saved me from becoming a monster forever." She met his eyes. "Dylan, you always had a choice about who you wanted to be. I just made it harder for you to choose the wrong path." Maya had learned the ultimate lesson. The greatest revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's building a world where they can no longer thrive by preying on others. When you turn pain into purpose, you don't just survive. You inspire a revolution. The girl once underestimated for being different had become proof that some people are born to lead, not by force, but by showing others how to reject the unacceptable. And now I ask you, what would you have done in Maya's place? Share your story in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful true justice stories, because sometimes the best revenge doesn't destroy, it transforms everything.